Welcome to WagerTalk TV. Kelly Stewart here, and today we're going to be breaking down the AFC with Marco D'Angelo and Joe Raineri. Don't forget, you can find us here every single Wednesday evening on Bet On It throughout football season. The WagerTalk YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Full disclosure, this video is going to be a little different. This is not just previewing each division. We are providing with actionable info and bets to get you through this NFL season. Marco and Joe, let's bring them in. We're going to do this one rapid fire because, well, we're under the gun, guys. Less than 5 weeks until the NFL season kicks off. We've already got our bets locked and loaded, and we're starting off with the AFC East, a division that I know Joe Raineri knows so well. Hopefully he doesn't choke on that Buffalo chalk, but tell me why you like Buffalo to win this division, Joe.
Well, I am. I mean, listen, you know I'm a Jet fan, Cal, and I would love nothing more here to tell you that the Jets are going to shock the world and surprise everyone. But as a Jet fan, I can assure you that in all likelihood is not going to happen. This division is still Buffalo's. I hate to break the news to Dolphin fans down the road from me here who even are a little skeptical about what this year might be bringing them, given the fact that one more concussion, and we are looking at a different Miami Dolphins team. But regardless of that, I still think this is the Buffalo Bills division to lose. And you got to remember, last year at this time, they had already Brian Dable had taken the job with the Giants. There was some turnover in there, and all of a sudden, Josh Allen and company, we've got Ken Dorsey as a new OC. It took them a little while to all get on the same page, but now they got a year under their belt. They've got a full off season together, and now a couple of different changes, some new looks. They're healthy again on the defense. There is absolutely no reason to begin fading the Buffalo Bills this year. Even though the Jets and Aaron Rodgers are going to make it fun, ultimately the Jets will be the Jets. You lose Ramsey now, and yes, Vic Fangio, I hate to break the news to Dolphin fans, doesn't play. While he's one of the greatest defensive coaches, I think the injury to Ramsey here and the uncertainty around Tua, and can he stay, concussion-free this year? And that is a big if. So I'm worried about the Dolphins, not worried about the Jets. Buffalo, it could be its own worst enemy, but I doubt it. Until that point, as long as I can get them at plus money, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills once again to win the AFC East.
Yeah, I was kind of mean in the chalk. Buffalo currently plus 120 with our friends over at Superbook Sports. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, you know I have not been high on the Jets since the Aaron Rodgers signing. I'm going to take the under on their regular season wins. I don't think this team wins 10 games. Marco, you are going to take a chance here. 3-1 for Miami to win that division. Like Joe said, Tua can stay healthy. I think that they have a real opportunity here. Break this one down for me.
Well, all that chalk hit me over the head from Joe. I got a concussion already. But I am going to go with Tua. And I'm going to, guys, all the hype, obviously Buffalo's there. We know that. Then you've got all the next hype with the Jets because of Aaron Rodgers. It's overhyped. I'm looking to the value. And here's what people are forgetting. We go back to 2021. Miami finished the year 8-1 in 2021. Last year, they started 8-3. Do the math. That's a 16-4 stretch. How many NFL teams can claim over a 20-game stretch to go 16-4? And then the injuries happen. Nobody can predict them. And yeah, if Tua gets hurt again, we've got problems. But they've taken as many precautions as you can. New helmet for him, all of that kind of stuff. And it's the second year in Mike McDaniel's system. You've got to expect things to be more efficient. They've got, they had to learn another system last year, and they still got out of the gate well. I like this team. I'm going to back them at the value because they're the third thought in this division. And again, if Tua doesn't get hurt last year, where would they have finished last year? And what would we be talking about coming into this season? I think the value is there. That's what I'm about. Yeah, it's Buffalo's division to win. Not buying the Jets at all, but I'm going to take Miami to win the division at a nice price.
All right, Buffalo plus 120 for Joe. Miami plus 300 for Marco, and give me under 9.5 wins for Joe's New York Jets. Let's move along and talk about the division that Marco knows so well. That's right. It's the AFC North. Marco, I'm going to let you go first. And oh boy, speaking of chalk, Baltimore minus 150 to make the playoffs. I didn't expect that one from a Steelers fan.
No, you didn't, but it's a two-parter, and it's because I'm taking Baltimore to win the division. Nice plus money there. You can get them around town. I particularly got it at plus 220. This is a spot where, hey, quote the movie Rounders, pay that man his money. Well, they did. Lamar Jackson got paid. They backed up the Brinks truck, unloaded it. Now it's put up or shut up. Lamar Jackson needs to deliver this year. Not only did they give him the money, they went out and got him some weapons to support that offense. This is going to be a fun offense to watch this year if they take the reins off of it and he stays healthy. And even though he wasn't healthy down the stretch last year, we had to go with Huntley. Look what they did. They still made the playoffs, and they almost beat Cincinnati. Should have beat Cincinnati if not for that ill-timed fumble that went the other direction for a touchdown. I like them to win this division. Cincinnati, yeah, we know about that offense, but the defense still has a lot of holes. The Steelers, as much as I love the Steelers, they're only going to go as far as Kenny Pickett takes them this year. And, you know, there's no guarantee that a rookie quarterback in his second year is going to make that leap. And then Cleveland, yeah, they're going to be improved this year. Watson having a full training camp under his belt, but it's still the Cleveland Browns. I'll take the most stable team next to the Steelers as far as management goes, and that's Baltimore. You've got everybody in place there. Let's take the Ravens to win the division. And if I think they're going to win the division, then I think minus 150 to make the playoffs is stealing. Even though we're laying 150, I'm going to go ahead, take that. 2 bets for you from me in the North.
It looks like a 2-horse race here pretty much in the AFC North. So Joe's going to take the other pony in the Cincinnati Bengals. But Joe, first I have to ask, how come nobody's giving the Browns any love?
Well, you should, and they are really the dark horse in that division. You got to love a couple of things going on there, right? You've got a quarterback in Deshaun Watson who, missed most of last year, obviously, played the final, 5 games of the season. And the great part about him was we saw some progression, right? He was not the same quarterback in the last game that he played than the first game that he played once he, shook off all that rust. I love and absolutely love the addition of Jim Schwartz as the defensive coordinator there. This is a defense that has underperformed on a consistent basis. They've got the players, now they've got the coach, and Stefanski's in a spot where it's do or die now. And coaches usually in those kinds of spots, he's going to have to fight for his job here. I do think they're going to have a lot more success than some people think, but ultimately, I'm with you, Cal. I think it's a 2-horse race here. Cincinnati, I'm all about continuity, right? I love the fact that Callahan OC is back. Lou Anarumo is back. Head coach Zach Taylor back. Everybody is back that mattered over the last couple of years for this team and their success. Now, obviously, the calf injury is concerning for Cincinnati, but we've seen Cincinnati start the year slow the last couple of times here with Joe Burrow. So I'm not worried about that. I think when this team gets it rolling, by the time we hit October, November, and December, as usual, the Bengals, who outside of a couple of pieces in the secondary on the defensive side of the ball, you know what you got. You know what's coming there, and I do think too many other question marks with the Steelers, with the Browns, even with the Ravens there, not to look at the Cincinnati Bengals as the team to beat in this division.
We're head-to-head once again. Joe's going to take the Cincinnati Bengals, Baltimore to win the division, and Baltimore to make the playoffs for Marco. And frankly, I'm staying out of this division. I have no bets here. But we're going to move along to the AFC South. And it looks like we finally have an agreement. Shocker, we're already in bet on it midseason form. You guys are taking each other's picks. Joe, I'm going to go to you first. Give me a quick synopsis of why you like Jacksonville to win the AFC South.
Coach and quarterback. We wanted to see very simply how Trevor Lawrence, amazing turnaround. To think that we almost lost him because they stuck him with, Mr. Ohio State there to start his career off, and he almost buried him. In comes Doug Peterson, and in 1 year, we've seen the kind of growth in Trevor Lawrence that you want to see and that we have seen in years past with great franchise quarterbacks through this league with Peyton Manning, Troy Aikman, Andrew Luck. Go down the list. They had rough first years. They made a giant leap in year 2. And now this is the year. If he is as good as we think he is, this means great things for the Jacksonville Jaguars here, who have all the confidence in the world. They've got a great mix of youth and veterans, and Doug Peterson has been here and done this before. I love the weak division with a team that is coming off a unbelievable season on both sides of the ball. They believe they can win. They want to win, and I think as long as Trevor Lawrence and Etienne and company and that running game stays intact, I think the sky is the limit for the Jacksonville Jaguars in this division.
Yeah, and it's not really a lot to say about the AFC South here, Joe. Jacksonville currently minus 150 at Superbook Sports to win the division. Marco, I know you agree with him, but do you think we could get a little love for the Titans, maybe the Colts?
No. And here's why. This is one of those ones where I don't like to take the chalk, but this is by default. In as much as for all of the reasons that Joe said to take Jacksonville, I agree with 100%. And throw in the fact that, you talk about how much he came forward in year 2, Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson's done this before. He's a quarterback-friendly coach. He makes quarterbacks better. Remember, he won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. He had Carson Wentz that season as an MVP candidate prior to getting hurt. And we saw what Carson Wentz has become since then. But it's about the default. It's everybody else in this division. There's nobody that can compete. You've got 2 teams that drafted rookie quarterbacks with their first pick. They're supposed to be franchise quarterbacks. Indianapolis and Houston are in total rebuild mode, so that takes them out of the equation. The only team that has a chance is Tennessee. But let's be realistic. I'm not a fan of Ryan Tannehill, and evidently Tennessee's not either. They've drafted 2 quarterbacks in the last 2 years, okay? So that tells you what they think of him. So Tannehill probably starts the season, but if they get off to a slow start, you're going to one of the 2 rookies, whoever emerges. Not rookies because the one would be a second-year guy, but they drafted Levis from Kentucky. You're going to have one of them in there early in the season, and I think it could happen sooner than later because if you look at Tennessee's schedule this year, they have a stretch from October 8th through November 19th. They play 1 home game in a 6-game stretch. Okay, now one of their home games is actually in London, okay? But it's not a true home game. So 5 of 6 games, they're going to be on the road with a London trip in there. That's a horrible stretch for this team. I don't see them being able to get through that. And let's not forget, do you remember this offense last year? Tennessee couldn't score 17 or less points in 9 of their last 11 games last year. I'm sorry. Jacksonville has to fall flat on their face not to win this division. This is as close to, we don't want to use that 4-letter word as there is out there, but Jacksonville is practically a lock to win this division.
And we got an L-bomb already from Marco. Love to hear it this early, before the season even started, in fact. All right, Jacksonville for both of our guys, minus 150 to win the division. I have to agree here. I tried to make a case for Tennessee plus 325. And you're right. Not only are they're only slated to be favored in 4 games, there's a lot of question marks surrounding their quarterback situation. I love Mike Vrabel. He does a lot less with more, but I have a feeling this is Jacksonville's division to lose. All right, last but not least, the division that I know the most about, AFC West. And I'm going to get right into it. I can't bet against the Kansas City Chiefs, at least not in season win totals or season-long bets. I have cost myself money over the years. I'm going to find some spots to bet against Kansas City throughout the season like I have the last 2 years where they may be overvalued. Now, my question here is, Marco, do we think they're a little overvalued, minus 185 to win the AFC West? I mean, we've got Sean Payton coming into Denver. We're going to find out. There's a big question mark there with him and Russell Wilson. We've got the Chargers where for lack of better words, I'm not a Brandon Staley fan, but, there's been worse. We'll say that. There have been worse coaches in San Diego, a.k.a. Los Angeles. All jokes aside, you like the Chargers to make the playoffs minus 115, but why not to win the AFC West plus 325?
Well, because we still have Kansas City there, okay? I came close to pulling the trigger on it, and maybe if this floats up a little bit higher, I might take a little, taste of the Chargers to win the division. But yeah, it is Kansas City's division to lose. We all know that. And will there be an improvement in Denver? Yes, of course there's going to be. They improved the minute they signed Sean Payton. Before he even walked through the doors, that was an improvement. Actually, they improved as soon as they fired Hackett, but that's another story. This is a spot with the Chargers. And Kelly, yes, the one asterisk with this wager is Brandon Staley. But for lack of a better word, you've got continuity. Whether that continuity is consistently bad or not, it's consistent. We're going on year 3 with him. So I'm shocked that he survived last year, that collapse in the playoffs and some of the gaffes that he's had in game. Those are things that got to be corrected. But let's be honest about it. This Charger team has knocked on the door the last couple years, and they've never been healthy for a full season. Whether it's been an offensive line problem, whether it's been a wide receiver out, whether it's been a running back out, they've never had all the pieces in play for a long stretch, and yet they're still there every year. Look at their losses last year. How many losses did they have by 7 points or less? They still finished with 10 or they could have finished with 10 or 11 wins this year if they turn around some of those losses. They did it last year with, I think they had 6 losses by 7 points or less. So I'm going to give them the shot here. Love the offense when it's healthy. And if they can improve the defense, which again, keep people healthy, I think they're a formidable defense. And if you have all the offensive pieces in play, that offense stays on the field longer. And we say it all the time. When the offense is on the field longer in your winning time of possession battle, it's going to make your defense better just by default because they're not having to defend as many plays. I like them to make the playoffs. I think because the AFC East and the AFC North are so competitive, teams are going to beat each other up. You're going to have a lot of teams in that, maybe, the 10-7 range, 9-8 finishing the season. I think they can get to 10 or 11 wins easily, and that gets them a wild card. And that's why I'm going with them to make the playoffs rather than to win the division.
It makes sense. We do know that Justin Herbert is the only quarterback in that division to beat Patrick Mahomes. Marco made a compelling case there, Joe, for Kansas City minus 185, which is your pick to win this division. Talk to me about locking up your money for 9 months at minus 185. I'd love to hear the strategy here.
Oh, hell no. Nobody said anything about locking up money at minus 185, but listen, if it's one thing as a depressed Jet fan that we have all learned over the years, Tom Brady, you hate him, you want to beat him to a pulp, but you don't bet against him. And there is no way. Belichick and Brady did it to us for how many years? And voila, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are doing the same damn thing. To your point, Cal, I mean, listen, the look-ahead lines, I haven't found them to be anything other than a favorite in all 17 games here. Their schedule is intriguing, where they've got right off the bat, they got some Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, I think Burrow. They've got some interesting quarterbacks right off the bat, but they also have a bunch of games at home here during the middle of the season against some quality teams here that, advantage Arrowhead here. The bottom line to me is he's the best thing that we have seen since Brady. They are rolling. They just, they take out a few pieces like Belichick and Brady did for years, and they're still the same, right? Same coach, same concept, same quarterback, same tight end. They've got a few years left here, I think, of this dominance. I can't, to me, I'm going to bet the Chargers in a different way. I'm going to bet them where Staley's going to be the first coach fired this year. That's what I think is going to happen with the Chargers. That's where I'm going. Outside of that, again, this is Kansas City's divisional lose. I don't see them losing it, Kel.
Yeah, they're going to be favored in all 17 games as well. I've got a couple of spots circled, if you will, at the Bears. At home to the Bears. Week 3 could be really interesting. At Denver, what is that? Week 8, they're going to be definite favorites, but man, Super Bowl rematch week 11. We're going to find out. They're going to couple Monday Night Football games back to back late. We may see them drop one at least against the spread. All right, Chargers to Chargers to make the playoffs for Marco. And Joe's going a little chalk, but he's saying maybe you should shop around and see if you can find Brandon Staley to be the first coach fired as his AFC West bet. My, oh my, Joe is getting hot early. Don't forget, guys, we're going to be here each and every Wednesday throughout football season on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe so you do not miss a single thing. We'll see you guys next week with the NFC.